What's so bad about thinking too far into the future or thinking too strongly about the future?
Version. Me going to the club and smoking and drinking with my friends, that ain't finna lead to no positive version. That's not going. If I'm in thought and I'm like, okay, I want to buy a house. Okay, what's the first step? Should I take? Okay, I need to go get me a loan officer. Okay, that first step.
I'd say there is something outside of this moment.
What is it?
It's not thinking. Going back on that.
What?
No, because think about it.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy DQ, and welcome to the Elevate Podcast. I hope that everybody subscribe. Please like the button and enjoy the video. Today I got a special guest, my main man, Preston. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good today.
You doing good?
Doing good.
Good to see you. Y'all, this is Preston. He is my friend. He was one of the first people I met on the football team coming to Korea and playing football. Met him on the field. Phenomenal football player. He got so much potential, man. And yeah, this is Preston, man. Yes, bro. And this is my first podcast. And yeah, so y'all stay tuned. We're finna get right into it. What kind of drink did you get, bro?
I got a coconut latte.
Coconut latte?
Yeah.
Have you had it before?
No.
No?
I got it because it seemed interesting.
It seemed good. All right, hold on. So, are you the type of person, like, when you go out, do you like to try new things or you like to just stick to what you know?
I mean, that depends. But majority of the time, I like to try new things.
Try new things? That's good. Because me, I know when I like to go out, I like to, okay, I got that last time. Let me not get this again. That's how I'm like.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's really good, though, then I'm going to get it again. But
get it again. But
if it's something that seems good,
yeah,
and it's worth trying, then I'll try it.
That's real. I like that. So, you on a track and field?
Yeah.
You had to track me yesterday.
Yeah.
How was it, man? Tell me about it.
I placed first in discus.
You placed first?
Placed first in discus.
Congrats, bro.
And then,
excuse my language.
Continue. And then I placed second in shot put.
Second in shot put?
And I hit a PR in shot put.
PR? Wow. What was your PR, man?
I hit 11.83 meters.
11.83 meters?
Yeah.
And that's far.
And that's the furthest throw for any freshman at Humphreys High School.
No way.
So I hold the record as
farthest throw for a freshman. How does that make you feel, man?
I'm excited.
You excited about it?
But ultimately, that just makes me want to chase the next goal.
Chase the next goal?
And the next goal is furthest throw for a freshman or sophomore.
Wow, bro. That is amazing, man. So you played football and you also played, now you're doing track and field.
Yeah. I also wrestled.
Also wrestling.
Yeah.
How would you say sports, how does sports affect mental health, whether it's in a positive way or in a negative way? How do you think sports impact mental health?
Well, for me, sports is like a way that I can get things out. I can just put all my emotion into one thing at a time. And I don't have to be all up in my head about something.
Okay.
And it's just a place where I can escape thought.
Escape thought. So it brings you in the present moment more.
Definitely.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's good, man. I kind of agree because when I was on the football field, as soon as that ball would be kicked off, I'm in that present moment. I'm waiting for wherever the ball lands, whether I'm finna catch the ball or the ball is being kicked to somebody else. I just be in that moment, ready to do whatever, and I be very in tune and not in thought.
Definitely.
Yes. So, yeah, man, we got a few questions. You got your questions ready? We just gonna be conversating like usual, normally. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hold on. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. But I'm back. But yeah, you got your questions ready. I got my questions ready.
Would you like to start?
Start, man. Go for it.
All right. So, first of all, I was thinking about it, right?
What?
And it was either I put like a lot of thought into each question,
Yeah.
or I had some smaller questions and just more of them. And I ultimately decided to go with putting more thought into each question.
Mm-hmm.
So like all of my questions are pretty deep questions.
Okay.
And most of it is like some that I reflected upon myself while writing. So the first one, what do you believe your life's purpose is, and how do your values align with that purpose?
What do I think my life purpose is, and how does my values align with it?
Yeah.
Well, right now, DQ at 18, I feel like my life purpose is helping the world, whether it's mentally, physically, but I'm doing something that's helping somebody else, and that's helping somebody else improving themselves. So I think that's my purpose. No matter what I'm doing, I'm helping somebody.
Okay.
And my values, how do my values align with that? I value communication a lot. I value communication, peace, positivity, determination, self-love. And I feel like, and I have lots of more values, but I feel like all those positive things in myself, I feel like they connect with my purpose because I'm able to connect with other people and myself. And it just brings some type of peace within, and the outcome is going to be a good outcome. So I feel like that's what my purpose in my life comes together.
That's deep.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. All right. Bet. Hold on. What are 3 of your values?
I say a good 3 are like probably connection between people
Connection.
and just being able to feel what others are feeling.
Feel what others feeling.
And then definitely communication, because I feel like understanding is a deep thing for me.
Empathy, basically.
Yeah.
Definitely, I agree. I love that. Is another thing I value is empathy. I love connecting with people, and I feel like that's something everybody should learn to do. It just helps you understand others, understand yourself. Everybody has a different background. You don't know how that person was brought up, or that person how they see their life, but that empathy, once it comes into play, you're able to understand somebody, understand how their life work, why they say no to that and you say yes to that. You understand why they dress the way they dress, why they do certain things. So I feel like empathy is very important.
Definitely.
Yes. Okay, my turn. All right, take a breath. All right, so I ain't gonna lie, most of my questions, they just was from the dome. I'm not gonna lie, they ain't really specific questions, but they just off the dome. But what is something people should stop glorifying? Like whenever you go out, whether it's at school, whether you go out to a park, the mall, social media, what do you think people is always glorifying about? What do you think?
I feel like people glorify different behaviors that aren't necessarily bad, but behaviors that lead to somebody not reaching full potential because they give up too soon, because they don't give it their all. Because like if you think about it, a lot of people, they'll be like, that's all right, it's okay, you didn't do that. But when people say that, they're just like reassuring them that it's okay that they didn't do good.
Mm-hmm.
When I think it is okay, but you could say it a different way. You could be like, I believe you got this next time.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're more so pushing them with your words versus saying that just because they did bad doesn't mean they're bad. I mean, it doesn't, but sometimes you gotta push them in ways that'll actually help them. That'll actually make them think, okay, I didn't do so good this time, but next time I got this.
Okay.
And next time I'll be stronger about it.
Give an example of a behavior that people glorifies a lot. that doesn't add up to what you was just saying?
So like, especially during sports, when somebody doesn't give it their all, and like people are like, it's okay that you didn't give it your all. When a whole team is relying on you to give it your all,
Yeah,
and they're just like, it's okay, you didn't play well, it's okay. When you know you didn't do good, and people are allowing you to feel that it's fine that
it's fine.
you didn't like put in as much effort as you could have.
And you feel like it's not fun?
Yeah, I feel like
It's not fun.
it's also the same as like group projects in school, or like
Yeah,
even in life, how like engineers work together.
yeah.
They have to do their part.
Give it a y'all. So you feel like everybody should give everything they all, no matter what, and not
Definitely.
and I, which I agree. I definitely agree. Everybody should give something they all, but you feel like it's being glorified too much. Like it shouldn't be just slipped away. Nah, you should have.
I feel like people should just like think about putting more effort into things, because if you want results, you got to put in effort,
Definitely.
and people just expect things to come naturally, and sometimes it does. But for some people, they work really hard to get to where they're at,
Yeah.
and that's something that should be emphasized: the hard work, the action behind their plans.
So, say you get put in a situation on track and somebody comes up to you and you notice they haven't been given they all. How are you gonna go about that situation? What you gonna say to them? Like,
Actually, I had this conversation with someone yesterday.
yeah,
I was talking to them and I was like, I saw you were giving out a little bit at the end of that race. What was happening? It was like, you know, I didn't feel like pushing myself that little extra
yeah,
bit. And I was talking to him. I was like, man, you're so close. If you push yourself that little extra bit, you're gonna make Far East. And he
definitely.
was like, that's a good point.
That's
And just
real.
like sometimes they have to realize the goals that not just set for themselves, but like others have set for themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like in comparison of goals.
That's real.
Because I have different goals than you, but your goals may push me to do better. It's just the way
So
that
taking
works.
somebody else's and also mine, you feel like them coming together would make something a whole lot bigger.
Definitely. And if it's
I like that.
from an outside perspective,
Yeah,
it's easier to understand when somebody's like, when somebody brings it up to you in a calm way and just like gives it to you
Hey.
as simple as possible.
yeah,
Like, I know you could have done that. You know you could have done that. Next time, let's work on pushing that little extra
definitely.
bit. That last 100 meters. That last 50 meters.
Yeah.
That last little bit.
It's crazy that you say that because me as a, well, not even, bro, humans in general, everybody loves feedback. So when receiving positive feedback, not taken negatively, you should apply that, take that feedback and apply it to yourself. I love that about us humans, you know. We can all help each other, come together, talk things out and whatnot, and just figure out each other and try to better ourselves, you know what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
feedback is everything.
Definitely.
I ain't gonna lie, that mango juice good, boy. That mango juice good.
You
What
know,
yours hitting on?
ooh,
It's good.
yeah.
1 out of 10.
I like a good solid 8.5.
Did you get the little bubbles at the
Nah,
bubbles in there?
it's just a coconut latte.
Do you like the one with the bubbles? What is it called?
I think it's called bubble tea.
Bubble tea? Okay.
I mean, it's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right.
If y'all don't know, man, we are in South Korea, by the way. It is daytime. Yes, while we making this video, I am in South Korea, hanging out, living life, and just making the best out of it. But back to the video, man. What does discipline mean to you? Everybody has their own perspective of discipline, or is this or is that, but what does discipline mean to Preston?
To me, discipline is putting in work when nobody else is.
Putting in the work when nobody else is.
It's giving that little extra bit of effort when you need to,
Mm-hmm.
and preparing to have to do what you don't want to do.
Okay. So just stick. Okay. Doing stuff, doing work while nobody else is, and just being there for yourself. Okay. Discipline. Okay. I agree. I agree. I'll take what you said. For me, discipline is for me, I would say discipline is sticking through. Like no matter what it is, I know it's something that needs to be done. Sticking through and getting that thing done. No matter if it's just taking a huge step into that thing or it's just taking a baby step. I feel like sticking through is everything. For instance, going to the gym. If I set this goal, I want to be bulk by the end of the next 3 months, and I say, okay, I want to go to the gym 5 days a week. Discipline is okay. I'm gonna make sure I go to the gym all 5 days a week. But if I'm sitting around and lollygagging at the school, I'm like, no, I don't feel like going to the gym. I want to go lay out with my girl. Yeah, I want to go out, have fun, and party tonight. That ain't discipline. Discipline is you sticking through, and you gonna make what you want. You gonna make it done. You know, by the end of those 3 months, you went to the gym all 5 days out the week, and you know you stuck through.
But I feel like discipline is also giving yourself that time to rest,
Give your time the rest.
because some people, that's all they know is how to like go to the gym, go home,
Yeah.
eat, go to sleep, repeat.
But what do you
And
mean? Get more into it.
I feel like whenever you give yourself time to rest, you give yourself time to heal, then it's like ultimately you're allowing yourself time to do other things, like open up a Bible. Because if you're going to the gym all 5 days a week, you're gonna miss out on some things.
I ain't gonna lie, I agree. Honestly, do agree.
And you have to be in the right mind to be able to tell yourself, today, even though I may want to go to the gym, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna give myself a day off.
I like that, bro. It's this dude I watched. Shout out Profound Pondering. I've been watching him for like 9 months now, but I was watching his videos like earlier this morning. Actually, he was basically saying like the same subject that he been working on himself, like going to the gym, but one day he may feel like not going to the gym and just putting in work for himself and just being there for himself, whether it's time to heal, going home to do something else. I ain't gonna lie, I agree with that.
Definitely.
So basically what you just said, he said the same exact thing.
Yeah. All right. I got another question for you.
Hit me.
How do the people around us shape our identity?
Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button. How does the people around us shape our identity?
Yeah.
It's crazy you asked me that question because I have a similar question on my paper like that, but I feel like the people around us, our environment plays a very big part in our lives. Me coming to Florida, well, me coming from Korea, being in Florida my whole life and coming to Korea this past year, it showed me how much my environment was and how that environment showed a reflection of me and who I was. And coming to Korea, I figured out more myself. But how people play a big part in shaping our identity is our friends, our environment is a reflection of who we are. You know, if your friends is people who just sit down, party all the time, worrying about things that weren't smoking, drinking, that's gonna be a reflection of you. You sitting around it all day. You ain't got no choice but to do it. You know what I'm saying? But the people around us play a very important part. You know, it it's a reflection of who he is, and then it's like, yeah, we ain't got no choice but to be like that. Unless you very strong in the mind to like say no to those things. But
But I think that's what also falls upon the discipline part to not
Discipline,
partake in
that's
what
real.
others
And
partake
what
in.
others do, yes, I definitely agree. But yeah, back when I was in Florida, I was the group of friends I was in, not to talk down on my friends, I love them all, but the things they did, I seen that if I stuck, if I stayed around and did what they did, I would and I would want to partake in what they did, but being away from them and being in my own energy and my own life without that stuff, I ain't have to like I ain't have to be involved with that stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yes, I think our people, our environment that we be around, it plays a very huge part in our life. And I feel like that's one way you can find out who you are. Look at the people in your life. Who do you talk to on a daily basis? And look at your environment.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me switch my thing. I'm gonna hit you with the same question. How do you think our environment shapes us as people?
Um, I feel like the people around us influences what we do and the things that we partake in. Cause like me, I hang out with a bunch of people who
Yeah.
play sports, and out of that, I just love to play sports.
Yeah.
Cause it's like those are my people around there,
Facts.
and I love sports because it allows me to get out my head.
Mm.
And just knowing that there are other people in their head like me that like to get out of it
Yeah.
through other things such as sports or art or music. It's just like feels nice. And like I could look at one of my friends and be like, just ask them some deep questions like
Yeah.
you. I'm able to come to you whenever I have a question about anything.
Definitely.
And even if it's not the answer I'm looking for, you give me some sort of answer.
Give me some type of feedback.
And it makes me feel more whole
Mm.
and makes me feel more resolved in the situation.
Facts.
And the people around us, yes, they influence us, but that is if we let them.
If we let them.
See, I could hang out with people who do terrible things, but understand that they're actually a good person
Yeah.
that was shaped by their environment. Like they had a hard upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a hard time,
Yeah.
and getting away from it isn't as easy as getting away from it.
Understood.
Because some things follow them. Some things do follow them.
Somebody who is in an environment that's bringing them down, how do you think that person should go about becoming a better version of themselves and like breaking off from that?
Probably the discipline.
But like, what would you tell them to do?
I would say replace old habits with new ones. That's what my mom tells me. She's
Okay.
like, if I have a bad habit, replace it with a new habit and make that habit good.
Okay.
And I didn't have the best year last year.
Yeah.
I was always getting in trouble.
Mm.
And she would tell me, replace your old habits with new ones. And so I started working out. I started focusing on sports.
Understood.
I started focusing on me. And by having all this structured time, there would be no area for me to slip up because I wouldn't be around that, and I wouldn't have enough time to be bored enough to goof around. And from the sports, I would feel so pressured to keep up my grades that I would keep up my grades. And so sports helps academics because when you realize that an athlete, they need a certain GPA or need a certain grade in a certain class and whatnot, then they start to take that into account. And if they want to keep doing what they want, then they got to do what they need to do.
You got to do what you need to do. Habits. Shout out to your mom, by the way. That's a W mom, bro. Change your habits if you want to change yourself. I feel like habits are very important for everybody. How important, like, do you advise everybody to have good habits?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Because if you have good habits, then ultimately you're creating a better version of
Better
yourself.
version of yourself. Okay, definitely. It's like that's the question I wanted. That's the question I said, but it's like in my mind I had something else. I didn't know how to say it. But all right. All right. So you are a sophomore, correct?
Mm-mm.
You're a freshman.
Freshman.
My bad. Freshman, you've been playing sports. You've been through quite a few things in life, but how do you think a person should take criticism when criticized? How do you think a person should react?
I feel like criticism is something that's needed but not always wanted.
Criticism is something that's needed but not always wanted. Get more in depth.
So I could like not want somebody to tell me how to do better in something, like per se while I'm doing sports.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could be doing better than someone, but at the same time, my form isn't the best. My like something about it isn't right,
Yeah,
and so I may not want their criticism, but I may need it to be better version, reach my potential in what I'm doing.
I see what you saying, but like, what if you walking down the street or whatnot, and somebody comes up to you, call you out your name or something you don't like? You know, the first instant or reaction somebody would be is angry and want to like react in a furious way. But how do you think you would take that criticism like that?
Well, in that instance, it's not worth my time.
Mm,
It's not worth my time or my thought
mm,
because I could be thinking about something more important.
yeah.
I could be thinking on how to better myself. And if I'm thinking on that, then why would I need to pay attention to what people are saying just to
Hmm.
make me mad, just to make me upset?
That's real. I like that because back in Florida, you know, people would just be they'll be ready for whatever. You know, somebody look at you crazy. You good? What you looking at me like that for? Somebody size you like walking past somebody and sizing somebody. You know, they'll be ready to fight off an instant. So people where I'm from, criticism is took it to another level when somebody feel like they're being threatened or something. So it's good to hear your perspective on that and not let that person. And it takes a lot to be like that.
Easier said than done.
It takes a lot of calmness and mind control to be like
It takes
that
a
ain't
lot of
even worth it.
self-control.
It takes a lot of self control to just be like, hey, that ain't even worth my time. I'm finna keep going about my day. I got better things to do, and I like that. I like it a lot. A lot of people don't have that. But what do I want to hit you with? Hit me with something.
All right. What legacy do you want to leave behind, and how do your choices today contribute to that vision?
Say it one more time.
What legacy do you want to leave behind, and how do your choices today lead to that vision?
I like that. What legacy do I want to leave behind? How does my choices today? The legacy I would like to leave behind, I wouldn't even say it's a legacy, but I just want to, before I leave, I want to leave with helping at least one person. You know, whether somebody watching this video, they took something that I said and they applied to their life. I didn't completed what I want to do. I wouldn't call it a legacy, but just for helping others. You know, I just want to help people mentally, physically. That's the purpose of this podcast, man. Elevate. I want to see others around me elevate. That's something that I want to leave before I get off this earth. And I've already done it, but like others just taking what I said or just, you know, if I can help somebody any way I can possibly, that's what I would just want to leave out. Being able to help somebody and how my actions today leads to that would just be being present, having empathy for others, sitting down and talking and just listening to that person. And empathy, somebody may just take empathy as just listening to somebody and just listening to somebody and not really listening to that person, but like, I mean, like seriously connecting with that person, giving that person your time, giving that person an ear, giving that person advice if needed, and understanding their background and where they came from. So my choices today is having empathy for others, becoming present. Because if I'm not present, I'm in my own head. I'm having self dialogue that's taking me out of this present moment. And then I would say self reflection as well. Self reflection helps me and others. You know, I'm able to better myself and better my actions on how I go out into the world. You know what I'm saying? So those are my actions, you know, and I try to partake in those actions each day. I try to do self reflective work every day. I try to be, ain't no try, but yes, I try and be present every single moment, every single day I get. And when I get in contact with somebody, I try to have, and I try to show empathy as much as possible. So, ooh, excuse me, my bad. But if that's something I could leave off, my bad, I would definitely leave off a good word to somebody and helping them elevate. Yes, and if y'all not already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know some feedback, man. Welcome to the Elevate podcast. This is my first podcast. Let me know what y'all think. With my main man, Preston. But yeah, does that answer your question, bro?
Definitely.
So yeah, that's what I would say. I'll leave off. Hit me another one.
All right.
And you ain't gotta wait, bro. If you want to say something, man, go for it. You ain't gotta wait for me to
Definitely.
be you, bro.
In what ways can learning about In what ways can learning about ourselves better our connection with others?
Well, we can better in ourselves.
So like
Back to
yeah, go ahead.
continue.
Now go ahead.
Back to self-reflection. You know, I feel like self-reflection, everybody should partake in, whether it's self-reflection, shadow work, sitting time and just being with yourself. I feel like that it you find out more about yourself. You know, sometimes I try to put my phone down. I try not to be influenced by outside influence. I try to sit in my own space, whether it's me journaling, me just sitting down. I try to find out more things about me, you know, why I go about things a certain way. And like self-reflection is very important. You said, why does it connect
And
us with
yeah,
others?
how does it better your connection with
And
others?
it betters us with others because, like I said, you find out more about things about yourself and how to go about situations with people. Um, you know, yes, I would say, yeah, I'm lost of thought right now. I just got brain fart, bro. But
It's a hard question.
yeah, but how it connect us with others? Oh,
I'll give you
shit.
my thought on it.
Hmm.
I feel like self-reflection, definitely knowing what's inside of us and knowing that we aren't the first person to think of these certain things.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't the first person to have these certain feelings, and knowing that we can go to others when needed.
When needed.
We can help others out as they come to you,
Mm-hmm.
and like understanding ourselves, knowing what makes you feel better can help understand what makes other people feel better.
Facts.
Obviously, it's going to be different for each person.
Yeah.
But if you allow that to happen,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll be able to deepen a connection.
Definitely.
Not just have a connection, but deepen it.
Deepen it.
Through just like the effort you're putting into y'all's conversation.
I agree.
The thought on your own time, your own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and like putting them out somewhere for others to understand what
Facts.
you're going through. And then sometimes if they see you're not having the best of days, they come up to you, hey DQ, what's going on?
Yeah.
Or hey Preston, what's happening?
Going on?
You don't look too happy today. And it could just be you thinking. See, that happens with me a decent bit.
Yeah.
I'll be at school and then I'll just like be walking past somebody and like, hey, you good? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And I'm just like thinking about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I'm not thinking about something, I'm gonna be talking to somebody about something,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna be active in the moment, and just like trying to not just connect on a verbal level,
Yeah.
but like physically connect with people.
Yeah.
And like how after a football game, you know how both teams just walk and then they shake hands.
Just shake hands.
That's more than just a verbal connection. That's like a physical connection, because it's showing they're human just like you, no matter the outcome.
This book I was reading, shout out Robert Greene. It's called The Laws of Human Nature. I haven't finished it. I started it. I'm on like the third chapter or whatnot, but it's called The Laws of Human Nature. The first chapter talks about controlling yourself, disidentifying from the inner dialogue, your mind, your thoughts, and emotions. And it's similar to self-reflection. And it teaches you like how to like, because us as humans, we be so quick to like judge others, assume things right off the bat, just by looking at somebody. And that book, it tells us like to control that, leave it be. And that's part of self-reflection, because we be so quick to like judge people, and you don't even know nobody for real. I feel like that you can better a connection like that by letting go of all those assumptions and thoughts. So yeah, end off your question. How do you think a person find themselves if somebody's in a lost mindset, or they going through things in life? How do you think that person finds themselves?
I feel like going back to things they enjoy to help get through whatever they're at, like whatever's going on with them, just like go do something you enjoy. Because if you do that, then what's stopping you from finding an old version of yourself? You're like, oh, I forgot how much I like playing chess.
Yeah.
Or I forgot how much I love video games.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And that's another thing people do, get lost in thought.
Yeah.
And which, whenever people get lost in thought, it's just, it could be multiple things. But if you think about it, a lot of people just go into a spiral of questions. And why does this work the way it does? Why does that happen? How does this work? And some of those questions, they just have nobody to talk to about them.
Do you think our thoughts shape our reality?
Well, definitely. Because what you think about, right? If you think about a lot of religious thoughts and you're a very religious person in general, then that's definitely going to shape how you treat others. You're going to treat others with the aspect of your religion. But if you're very athletic, then most times than not, you're gonna look like an athlete, dress like an athlete, you know? Because even subconsciously, people do these things that they don't know is a reflection of who they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Like from the outfits they wear to the simple gestures they make. Like if you walk up to somebody and say what's up, then somewhere in life you felt like you wanted somebody to come say what's up to you. And even if you're not thinking about it at that moment, you realize that those things are things that you can help with.
Yeah.
Like if I was at the track meet yesterday, right? And there was this kid who was about to do long jump, and he never done it before. Given I'm not very good at it, I just talked to him. I was like, how you doing? He was like, I'm scared. I was like, he was a middle schooler too.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I never got to do this when I was your age, but you're gonna get good at it. If you keep practicing, you'll be good.
Yeah.
And he didn't do very good, but after he was super happy.
He was
He
happy.
had a smile on his face
Yeah.
right after his jump, and he was just,
That's amazing.
he was in the moment. Before he even jumped, he was all in his head. He had
Yeah.
nobody talking to him. He was just
And you
looking.
was there
He was just
for
looking
him.
nervous, and it was some random Osam middle schooler that I didn't even know. And I just walked
And
up
you
to him,
made his day
and
just by
I
talking
just
to him.
asked him, "You excited?" And he was like, "Eh." I was like, "Are you nervous?" He was like, "Yeah."
Damn,
And
that's
then
good,
I
bro.
just spoke to him. I was like, "You got this."
That's good, man. Before you came in there, he was in his head, nervous, and you broke that for him just for a little conversation. That's what I like about us humans. You know, we're able to connect with people and just be there for somebody else without being mean. We ain't always got to be negative. It's okay to come to somebody, check up on somebody, and just be there for somebody.
Definitely.
I like that, bro. But my take on our thoughts shaping our reality. I think thoughts very much shape our reality. You know, if we somebody who just sit in a negative loop all day of thoughts, so I am lame, I am boring, I am ugly, I'm fat, I'm this and that and the third. Your outside world ain't gonna have no choice but to reflect that negativity on you. So I feel like if you're a person who just sit in bad thought all day, once you go out in the real world, the world is gonna reflect all that negativity upon you. But if you switch your mind to thinking, I'm not, and yes, you can't just switch your mind. Okay, I want to think positive, but if you train your mind
Yeah.
on having positive thoughts and you just being there, you want to make positive thoughts, you're gonna see that in your life. You know, like this past week, I've been being more present and I've been there for myself. I've been giving myself affirmations. Oh, I'm handsome, I'm confident, I'm whole, I'm pure, I'm authentic, or whatnot.
Yeah.
And when I went outside in the real world, I seen positive in everything. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen good, but maybe my old version of me who used to be in bad thought all day, every time that person would go out, all I would see is the good and well, I would see the bad in everything. So I very much think our thoughts change or shape our reality a whole lot.
I
You
feel
know, it
like,
all starts within.
yeah. I feel like people also need to experience a time of no thought. I was
I
thinking about
agree.
it. And I, on the bus the other day, I was thinking, is it possible to forcefully not think? Can you force yourself to not think?
Mm-mm.
But I found the answer to that is actually, yeah, you can.
How?
You can force yourself to not think. If you just sit, look, listen, breathe,
Definitely.
smell. I was on the bus the other morning, and that question just popped into my head. Can I forcefully not think? And so I just sat there, and for 20 seconds at a time, I was just trying to keep my head clear.
Mm.
Every time I saw a word, I would read it, and that word would come into my head, and that's a
Mm.
thought. So I'd be like, okay, now I know. Don't look at no words. Don't look at any words. So looked at the sky, and then I was just looking, and I was just picturing that in my head,
That's mindfulness. What you're doing,
and
bro?
then I realized that picturing it in my head is a thought. So I would just see everything around, but it's not like I was looking for any certain thing.
Yeah.
I would just admire the outside,
Facts.
and I would try to not have any words in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just breathing,
Just
focus on my
breathing.
breathing. But then I
Facts.
realized that's thinking. So I was like, okay. Let me just breathe and look and listen. Nothing more, nothing less. And on the bus, I felt an experience of calmness, an experience of just a gentle moment.
Yeah.
And I realized I could experience that anywhere.
Mm.
If I'm in the middle of a test and I'm having a bad day, all right, let me take a second.
What did it feel like? Just being there.
I mean, didn't even feel like I was there.
Just presence. That's presence, my boy.
Definitely.
That's
And
presence.
I kept questioning that as I went home, and I was like, but was that truly not thinking? And so I asked my mom, and she was like, I don't know. I asked my dad, and he was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
And then I went and I watched Eckhart Tolle videos.
You watched him?
I watched him.
I'm telling you,
I
bro.
watched him speak on certain topics.
Yeah.
And he was. Ooh, I took notes on that. I wrote probably like 3 or 4 paragraphs of just notes.
First. That's good, man. Eckhart, man. Shout out Eckhart Tolle, man. I got his book right here, The Power of Now. If you a person who overthinks and just always stuck in the future or in the past, this is an amazing book to go and read. You know, it helped me
Definitely.
transform my life and change my life. But back to your back to what you were saying. Is it possible to have no thought?
But it's
The
not.
mind is
Yeah.
going. The mind is going to think regardless. That's the mind. It's going to have thoughts, positive, negative. But having no mind is experience when you're in a flow activity, track, football. When you're doing something you love, I feel like ain't no feel that no mind comes in when you're just fully in tune with the present. But no thought can also be experienced without doing a flow activity. You know, what you was doing the other day, that's called mindfulness. You know what I'm saying? You looking out, looking at the
Definitely.
birds, sky, or whatnot. That's mindfulness. But you can experience no thought. You can just start observing the thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like
See, but
when I
what Eckhart Tolle was saying, right? So in one of his videos, I forget the name of it, but he was saying that no thought to a thoughtful mind is either dangerous or uninteresting.
say it again.
No thought, so having nothing to think about, to a thinking mind, to somebody who thinks all the time, it either feels dangerous or it's just uninteresting. And he said this one thing that is hard to forget. What is less interesting than not thinking?
What is less interesting than not thinking?
Like, that's
That's deep.
that's a strong question.
What
What
is
is less
less
interesting
interesting
than
than
not
not
thinking?
thinking?
I couldn't find anything, because you could say something random, the sky, but you know the sky is very interesting if you really break it down. You got different levels in the atmosphere. Okay, let's try something else. The dirt. You got different types of soil. You got different makeup.
That's
You got
crazy,
different
bro.
levels of growth from different plants in that soil.
Yeah.
Let's try something else. As simple as a little atom, but atoms make up everything. So what's less interesting than not thinking?
That's a good question, boy. What is less interesting than not thinking? Wow. Bro, you gotta send me that video. Like I be watching his videos a lot. Like his videos be interesting. He funny without being funny, bro. Like people
Definitely.
just be laughing at him. But he be speaking truth though.
Oh,
Like
most definitely.
and I feel like although he has so many videos, all of his answers lead back to the same thing, which is presence,
Definitely.
having no mind,
And a lot of times he references his book, The Power of Now.
and just being here right now. Like if you actually think about it, me personally, I don't think problems are real. You know, I feel like, and I got this from his book actually. He was basically saying like problems are just think problems are just thing problems is just something in the mind that you can't physically deal with yet. You know, somebody may be complaining about like this test they have to get done next Thursday or whatever, and they thinking it is a problem, but you're just in the future too much. But if you be here and now, that ain't no worry. That is nothing you should be worrying about.
And if you're
But
in the now, then you're
and
able to
if you
like,
in it now, you that ain't nothing to worry about.
then you're able to think about it, and you're like, if I'm here right now, what can I do to prepare for
What's
that?
really the problem exactly?
And you could be studying right now in preparation
Everything
for
is
that
taking
test.
action into right now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
people look so much about the outcome. Oh, I wish my life was like this 10 years from now. I wish I get this and that. They be so focused on the outcome in the future and the mind. But like, if you focus on the now, what steps can you take to get to that? You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, everything is now. There's nothing outside of this moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you was in the car with your mom earlier, that's now a mental image. That is a thought that's in the mind. You know,
Definitely.
that it never existed. All it is right here and right now. And I love that topic so much because it brings me to the present, and it's just like a relief. Like, there is nothing outside of this moment but here and now.
Definitely. And well, actually, I would have to say there is something outside of this moment.
What is it?
It's not thinking. Going back on that.
What?
No, because think about it, right?
What?
No, bro, Eckhart Tolle, he states that not thinking puts you outside of the moment. It puts you outside of your physical,
Being.
physical being. It puts you in a whole nother
Dimension, which is the presence.
But you can be more than just present physically. You can be present in thought.
Observing that thought.
Present in thought.
Present in thought.
Because if you're present in thought, right, then that's basically thinking on what you got to do right now. So that versus just like doing something, which that's physical presence, thinking on what you need to do. Yes, that may be some future, but like if you're thinking about what you're doing right now, like I'm writing, but I'm thinking about that writing, then I'm present in thought and physically.
Okay.
But if you just put all your action towards thinking, right, and questioning yourself or something that's not like something you need to get done or that happened in the past.
Just questioning your
Just
thoughts.
questioning yourself, or like I could be sitting in my room and thinking, why do trees grow the way they do? There's a scientific answer, but science is like, it's based on discovery. What's the like? What made it do that? Like, what made it grow like that?
What made it grow like that? Why does
Just
the
like
leaf
people.
look like that?
What made me grow like this? What made you grow like that? And the way that you're present in thought is through,
It leads to so much more. It leads to discovery of the self.
like through effortful thought. Like, you could overthink things, but that's when you let thoughts rush
Take
into your
control.
head.
You.
Not so much as take control, but yes, but whenever they rush into your head. Because Eckhart Tolle, he was talking about how if you're present in mind, then you're able to control what thoughts you think. And they come one at a time. But if you're not present in mind, then your thoughts will flow in and they will all come at the same time. You'll have so many different questions in your head.
That's what he calls that's when he says unconscious. When you just letting all these thoughts come in without knowing they're there, that means you're just unconscious. But you become conscious when you like acknowledge that thought, like ODQ, so and so. But okay, I'm aware of this thought. Why did this thought come? How many times has this thought been? That's when you become conscious, and that's what I like about Eckhart. You know, he just
he poses so many deep questions.
It's deep, but it all leads back to the one thing. Man, he's an amazing author. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. He actually stays in like Switzerland or something. He's like Jewish. he's in Switzerland or something. But
yeah, there was another video I was watching, and it was like, it was on like different. Wait, what is it called? Oh yeah, philosophy. Different forms of philosophy, and it was just talking about how there is a belief that nothing is real, and or not nothing is real. There's a belief where people don't believe in anything, but by that being a belief, then they believe in something.
You said people believe that nothing is real?
No, wait. So what I'm gonna say was, there is a belief where people believe in nothing. So I don't believe in this moment. I don't believe in whatever religion,
Yeah.
whatnot. But by believing in that, that is a belief.
Mm.
So therefore,
What is
is that
real?
not a real belief?
What is real? That's a good question. That's another thing that I feel like people should like. In order, if you want to find yourself, I feel like sitting down and just go over all your beliefs. Why do you believe what you believe? Do you believe that because of somebody else, or do you genuinely believe that? You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Why do you do the things you do? Are you doing it because of somebody else, or because of somebody, or because you want to? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's another reason, or another way you can go about self discovery,
Of course.
going over your beliefs.
I got another question for you. That's my last question. What choices and actions can we take to leave our legacy that we envision versus legacy of just following expectation?
Did you get these off ChatGPT?
No. I looked into deep questions and I wrote some of them down.
Continue,
But
bro.
like, yo,
Continue.
like so, yo.
My bad, bro. Ah, continue, continue. Oh my god.
So, what choices can we make
Yeah.
that lead to us leaving the legacy we want versus what people expect of us, the legacy that they expect for us? So, how can we basically how can we do what we are doing or what we need to do to leave the legacy that we want people to know of us for? So like, I want people to remember me by this.
Without their expectations.
Versus, oh, yeah, that seemed like what he would do. Or, yeah, I knew he was going to do that. Like, they expected it. But how do we go further than just what people expect? What choices can we make that allow us to really give all of us and put our whole self out there to the world?
I like that question. I like that ChatGPT question. But it's so simple what I'm about to say, but honestly, bro, just being you, doing you, being yourself without having any outside influences, without everybody expectations upon yourself. You know, if I have a legacy or something I am shooting for, I know what steps I need to take, I know what actions I need to be doing, I know things I should not be doing, and I know what things I need to be getting done, but I'm not going to be worried about everybody else's expectation upon me, you know?
But how do you know that those certain things are what you need to do?
How do I know that those are certain things I need to do?
Yeah, like to get what you're doing to mean something versus like, because you can make some choices, right, that don't affect you. And if you make those choices that don't affect you, they don't affect your legacy. Or you can make certain choices that do affect you that don't affect your legacy, right? So something that affects me now, like let's say I get into a fight, that'll affect me in the moment and maybe for the next 2-3 weeks. But
Okay.
that's not going to affect my legacy.
Your
That's not going to
legacy,
affect the person I leave behind. That's
your
not going
end
to
goal.
affect the effort I put into the world.
Um,
So what choices can we make that'll like help us put out a more full version of who we are?
First off, I would definitely say like find out what is our end goal, what do we want to accomplish, and then the choices that we make. I feel like we need to like question our choices and things we doing. Like you say, getting in a fight won't affect my legacy. You know, you gotta be there in the moment. Like if I do this, will this affect me then? You know what I'm saying? But how do we go about choosing those actions? Is just by another what we just talked about, self-reflection. You know what I'm saying? Will this benefit me? Will it not? If it doesn't, let it be. A quote on my wall I have right now is serve things that serve me. I live by that. and I try to use it as much as I possibly can, because a lot of us humans, we serving things that doesn't serve us and doesn't benefit us in a way. I may be sitting in a toxic relationship, and deep down I know this isn't for me. This is what I shouldn't be doing, but like this thing doesn't serve me nothing at all. So what am I doing it for? You know what I'm saying? So it's all
Yeah,
about having that end goal in mind and where I want to be at, and like just aligning my actions with my highest version.
definitely. That
If
makes
I
sense.
if I want to be a more positive version of myself, how am I gonna what am I gonna do throughout the day to lead to that? Whether it's meditating, reading books, watching positive YouTube videos, Eckhart Tolle or whatnot. What steps am I making, to lead to that positive version? Me going to the club and smoking and drinking with my friends, that ain't finna lead to no positive version. That's not gonna help me towards my end goal. So I feel like it's all about self-reflection and just looking at these choices and things that we're doing now.
Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack real quick. You were talking about earlier to not think too far ahead, but what what about thinking too far ahead is bad? What about putting too much thought into the future is bad? Because you could be preparing for the future. Like, I could start preparing for college, or I could start preparing for the next level of sports that I'm going to play. So what's so bad about thinking too far into the future or thinking too strongly about the future?
First off, there's no problem with thinking. The mind is going to think, yes, but the problem is when we get too caught in that thinking, when we find ourselves, when we attaching ourselves too much in thought. If it's something in the future that I want to get done, whether it's preparing for college or I'm about to go about purchasing a house or whatnot, it's okay to have thoughts related to that. But when you like, when you base your, when you attach yourself too much and you find yourself too much in thought, where it's taking you out of this present moment and you're not getting nothing done, you know what I'm saying? That's when it becomes a problem. If I want to go and buy a house, if I want to go buy a house and I'm not doing nothing present to go buy that house, and I'm just sitting in my thoughts like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? But that's when it's a problem. But
But I feel like some of that is needed though, like to really understand how you're
but
going to do
listen,
things.
but if I'm in thought and I'm like, okay, I want to buy a house. Okay, what's the first step should I take? Okay, I need to go get me a loan officer. Okay, that first step, I'm gonna go get me a loan officer, and then
Oh,
second step, okay, after I get my loan officer,
you're talking about
let
like
me
not
go
putting action behind your
putting
thoughts.
action behind your thoughts. Because if you're not putting no action behind your thoughts,
Yeah,
what are you getting done? This
I,
dude,
I got a quote for you.
what's the quote?
I read this a while ago, and it's if you put action behind your thought, your dreams become a reality.
Yes, and I definitely agree,
And like I apply myself by that quote a lot of the time.
This dude I'm watching, Profound Pondering. Shout out to him again. He's a young dude around our age, like 21 or 22. But one of his quotes he lived by is, "If all you can do is think about it, it's not worth thought. If all you can do is think about it, it's not worth thought."
That's deep.
What does it mean to you?
If it's out of your control, then it's not worth your time.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Like, man, if all I'm finna do is sit about this house, if all I can do is just sit down and think about it and not put no action behind it, it's not worth my thought in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Don't forget to
yeah.
subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, man. Listen, um, I'm starting to feel like more present now. Like in the beginning of the podcast, I was definitely like I was listening to you, but at the same time, like I was like thinking about what I was gonna say next, so
Definitely.
Steph that and the third. But now I'm like present,
I
I'm
feel like
listening.
I feel like that's how all conversations are though. Like at first,
Facts, just
yeah,
thinking about what you want to say.
yeah, basically, and like trying to formulate a response.
Yeah.
But the further along in the conversation, the easier it gets to talk, and it's just like
Exactly.
what you think. It's like right off the dome, as you were saying.
I agree. All right, well, we finna switch gears a little bit.
All
You
right.
said those are your last questions?
Yeah, that was my
Okay.
last one.
How does social media affect our mental health? Specifically talking about like, well, yeah, in general, like our
Okay.
generation, people a little older than us, our parents. How does social media affect our mental health?
Okay, I think specifically for our generation, people see the good side of everything.
What do you mean?
Like, I could be having a terrible day and take one good photo and post it, and then people think I had a good day. They see the good, but because that's all people want to post about
Is the good thing in life.
because they just want people to recognize how they're doing good.
Yeah.
But realistically, not everybody has a good day every day, and that's all right. Whereas somebody might be doing great in sports and they post that clip of them just like popping somebody while playing football.
Yeah.
Pop somebody and then make a touchdown.
Facts.
Right? Okay, they look like a good football player. But in reality, that was one good play.
That was one good play. That's real. I agree with what you're saying.
There's roughly 250 snaps of the ball in a football game. I think so. I don't know. Can't remember. But there's a lot.
And that's why I feel like social media comes into play. That's how it affects us, because when we see those good moments in people's lives, we start to compare ourselves. I feel like that's how it affects our mental health. It can lead to comparison. You know, I may get on TikTok.
Comparison is the killer of joy.
I may get on TikTok and see somebody, they flashing money, they just purchased a new car or whatnot. And then I start to compare myself like, oh, wow, my life isn't like this or that. But it may not even be that person car. It may not even be that person money. They just showing the good in their life. And when I'm looking at their life on social media, it leads to comparison to other people. And if you sit down and comparing yourself to people, you're not getting nothing done with your life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's wasting time.
It's just like the thought that doesn't mean anything to you.
Exactly.
But I feel like social media is also, in ways, good.
Definitely. I agree.
Because it allows people to connect.
Definitely. It has its pros and its cons.
And their interests and just like what they like to think about. And like, I like going to the gym. So if I had a feed of just like people working out, that's something that may interest me.
Yeah.
But I think it becomes a problem when you start glorifying what other people have versus admiring what you have.
Exactly. I agree. I very much agree. I very much agree because, like you said, social media can have its pros and its cons. It's all about how you use it. You know, if
Definitely.
you just doom scrolling all day, you sitting down and getting no type of work done for yourself, but
and that's not valuable.
It's not valuable at all. You know what I'm saying?
It.
You're not doing nothing for yourself, and that's where discipline comes in.
Yeah.
You know, you say you want to be like that person, getting money, getting cars, but what are you doing? You sitting down doom scrolling all day. You're not doing nothing with your life at all.
Yeah, but also, I do think social media is a good platform where you can learn.
Yes.
Because YouTube is a form of social media.
Yes.
It is media shared throughout social platforms. I just stuttered. That was funny. Okay, anyway, it is a good place where you can go watch stuff and you could be entertained by what you watch, or if you have specific questions, right? Then you can go and, let's say you have a question about the power of now. I guarantee you, if you search it up on YouTube, there's gonna be
some videos on there for you.
And let's say for track, I've questioned about my form for running. Okay, let's see. Whenever I put that in the search bar, first thing that pops up, YouTube video.
Videos that's going to help you towards that. And that's where the pros of the social media come in. Like, social media has a lot of platforms and things that you can go into to help yourself. And like this video right here,
Yeah.
you know, this is something that somebody may be able to search up and want questions about mental health and confidence, discipline, or whatnot, and they'll be able to help them. But yeah, it's all about how you use social media
I
instead of
also feel
letting it
like for
use you.
this video specifically, it's a form of like, yes, we are young, but it shows we still have understanding for what we're going through.
Exactly.
And there are some people our age who are just confused all the time.
That's real.
And this may be easier to watch than a 60-year-old man talking about the same exact topic.
Facts.
Because
I like that.
yes, he went through that, but how many years ago?
Yeah.
Versus us now,
And we
how
talking about
we
it
can
now.
speak on it.
I like that, boy. I like that.
And it's easier for people to understand coming from people around the same age around
group.
the same.
And that's what, and that makes people feel like they're not alone. You know,
Exactly.
you're not alone. You know, there's a whole lot of people around the world.
Especially how I was talking about like earlier, we aren't the first to think of these certain thoughts.
Exactly, man. Nobody is alone. Nobody's alone. If you somebody who is going through it, listen, it's okay, man. Drop a comment down below any questions you would like. My Instagram is SheLovesDQ1. What's your Instagram, bro?
I got Insta.
You ain't got Insta? Oh,
Nope.
Okay. But if you need any questions, let me know. I can get with him, chop it up. We can let y'all know anything y'all want to know about the better y'all health. Listen, we elevating, you know, we trying to get to a higher position than what we was at before, whether each day is a new day to become a higher version of ourselves. And
but you got to remember, you have to put effort into it if you want to get results.
You gotta put that effort. You can't just sit down and lollygag, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna do one more question.
I bet.
Then we're gonna go ahead and end it up. Which one I want to hit you with?
Hit me with the hardest one you have. I'm interested now.
Yes, Let me see. Hold on.
Hit that subscribe button.
All right, so what happens when you want to fit in a group of people, but you don't? How does that affect you as a person, mentally and physically?
Okay. See, I have experience with this, but if I want to fit in with a certain group of people and it doesn't really work out, like I don't find the same jokes they find funny, or I don't have the same things that they have to talk about, or it's just like not as easy to come up with a conversation, then, well, ultimately it takes time and effort. Because if you want to fit in with people, then you could do it. It'll take time and effort, but you could do it. Like, it starts with little conversation.
Yeah.
But if you don't fit in with them, then best thing you can do is find your group of people. Find people who hang out around you for you. Find people who enjoy your presence. Find people who enjoy the conversation that you can bring.
I definitely agree. Honestly, don't even like, if you feel like you have to fit in, you already doing something wrong. You feel me? I feel like if you want friends or want people in your life, I feel like you put in that work with yourself, those things will just come along the way.
But you gotta realize sometimes it isn't that easy for people
to come, or like, what do you mean?
To like fit in. Because I could have no friends, right? Because I just moved to a new place, and like, if I don't talk, right? If I'm introverted, then it's gonna be much harder for me to fit in versus somebody who's very extroverted and they want to talk to everybody. And
you definitely right. I agree with that.
It takes something as simple as like helping someone out too, because you got to realize if you don't fit in, then find people who want to fit in with you.
Understood.
Or find others who want to fit in, because like, I'm gonna be moving this year, right? And I'm blessed that Pierce is gonna be moving with me. So me and him we're both moving to Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find my new football team, new track team, new wrestling team, and I'm gonna have to get new friends.
Dang, man.
Which is gonna be hard, but it's not gonna be undoable.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I may be a little nervous. Yes, I may be a little scared, but I realized that everything's gonna take course as it should.
Yeah.
And when I get there, I know I'm gonna be able to reach back out to you whenever I need.
Definitely,
I know
bro.
I have people who I could talk to, like Vaughn. Shout out Vaughn.
Shout out my dog Vaughn, man.
No, me and him been talking a lot more. And it's just for some people, fitting in isn't easy.
Definitely.
Like I would say, I don't fit into one group of people. I talk to a lot of different people that I've known over the years. I've been in Korea since 5th grade, and I am moving after my freshman year of high school. So it's a little bit difficult. But I'm excited to have new experiences.
That's good, bro.
New things to really challenge me. And just like how you came over here for reasons,
Yeah,
I'm ready to move for reasons.
exactly. I like that, bro. And that's the end of it, man. That was a good
Appreciate y'all.
question to answer. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here, YouTube, man. If y'all made it this far in the video, thank you. I'm very much grateful for watching it. If you didn't make it far through the video, man, I'm still grateful that you thought about clicking on my video and taking your time to, give me a view or something. But if y'all would like any questions, anything mentally, physically, if y'all want to elevate and need help, listen, I'm here. Ask me a question down below. And I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And I will see y'all on the next video. Peace out, man.